There are some anime that entertain you, and then there are anime that change the way that you look at the world. For me, one of those anime was Rurouni Kenshin, because long before I knew about Japanese history, long before I took Asian studies in university, there was a wandering swordsman with a cross-shaped scar who made me ask a simple question. Can someone truly redeem themselves from their past? I first encountered Rurouni Kenshin about 1998. At that time, martial arts anime was still fairly new to me. I've watched Dragon Ball Z, Ranma 1 Half, Fatal Fury, Street Fighter 2 the animated movie, and I loved all of them. But Rurouni Kenshin felt different, because it wasn't just action, it was history. The series takes place during Japan's Meiji era, in the years following the end of the shogunate. The more I watched, the more curious I became. Who were the Shinsengumi? Why did the samurai disappear? Who was Hajime Saito? What was the Meiji Restoration? Of course, the series fictionalizes many of these events, but there was enough historical inspiration here to make me want to learn more. And honestly, I think Rurouni Kenshin had such a profound impact on me that it eventually contributed to my decision to minor in Asian studies. And that's a pretty incredible thing for an anime to do. And then there's the man himself, Kenshin Himura, also known as the legendary assassin, Hitokiri Batosai, the Manslayer. In an era filled with ambitious swordsmen and legendary warriors, you have this seemingly harmless wanderer traveling through Japan. He's polite, he's clumsy, goofy, and then his eyes change. He draws his sword, and suddenly you remember exactly who he is. Before there were characters like Saitama, Kenshin was one of those heroes who was unbelievably powerful but chose not to show it. Every time he fought, there was purpose, and you knew something important was about to happen. But what makes Kenshin fascinating isn't his swordsmanship, it's his vow. This man was once the most feared assassin of the revolution. He believed in the cause. He wanted genuinely to make a better Japan. He wasn't evil. He wasn't bloodthirsty. He believed that he was helping create another better future. And yet, many years later, he sees the consequences. He sees the lives that were lost, sees the suffering that violence leaves behind. He becomes disillusioned. And that's incredibly human. Because how many of us have believed that we were doing the right thing, only to realize later that life is just much more complicated? And so Kenshin chooses another path. He takes up the reverse blade sword and vows never to kill again. And that's what really Rurouni Kenshin is about. Can someone make amends for the things they've done? Can someone move forward after making a terrible mistake? Can redemption ever be achieved? Because no matter how sincere Kenshin's regrets are, he cannot return the lives he has taken. He cannot undo the pain. He cannot erase the past. All he can do is continue to live differently, continue to protect others, continue to seek atonement. And honestly, I think that's a beautiful message. Because redemption isn't about changing the past. It's about choosing what to do next. Even today, decades later, I still think about that. I still think about Kenshin's journey. I still think about the idea that people can change, that they can seek forgiveness, that they can choose a different path. Maybe that's why this anime has stayed with me all these years. Not because of the sword fights, not because of the action, but because beneath all that is simply a history about a human being, about guilt, about forgiveness, and about hope.
Okay, so now let's look at the box for Kenshin here. This is made by a company from China named ToysDao. And usually they create 1/6 scale figures. Um, and the box here is simple. And you have your labels and everything like that. So let's try and take Kenshin out of the box here. And uh, apart from the sleeve, it's just like a plain um, brown box. Nothing special here. But the nice thing that I like about this is that it's compactly packed. You have like your double plastic sheet that would still show you the display, but at least the parts don't fall off. So I like that kind of. I don't know if they call that like a clamshell. Um, and of course, with this one, what really attracted me about this type of figure, because I know they had some re-releases, is that it included two of the head sculpts. One would be the live-action movie, which has Takeru Sato's head, and the other one is the anime head. So if we look at the head sculpt first, I mean it's pretty movie accurate. The body is a hard plastic, so that's a good thing. So it doesn't really degrade in time. Unlike like some of like the Phison body, there's ball joints at the elbows and also articulation at the shoulder. Head swivels nicely, and you have a real hair. I mean, I don't know if that's real or not, but it feels real. Um, Now, the cloth, the hakama, and all that looks good. Knees fold. It's a double jointed knee. Um, it's fairly articulated, which is appropriate for a martial arts action figure. Now, this one is actually fascinating because it has the sandals, and it's really roped around like it's like a legitimate Japanese samurai sandal. And there's a back shot of the figure. Um, and overall, I know this has been like it was released in 2020, so in terms of like the articulation, it's fairly good. I know or there's a little bit of a gap on the neck, which is fine depending on how you pose him. Um, and yeah, so this one is the one that I love is the anime head sculpt. So that is Kenshin Himura again with the uh, sort of serious face. It's nice that they have them like a ponytail, like a hair tie that you can insert, and then once you have that, then you insert that hair appendage onto the head sculpt. Um, it looks fairly fragile, so you got to be careful about dropping it or anything like that. So it has the accessories are hands, open hands. There's a closed fist, one that's holding the sword, and another set of pair of hands, two closed fists, and holding the sword. Now this one is amazing. Oh, that's satisfying. The satisfying opening and closing of the sword. Now this is actual metal, and I've been sort of fiddling around with it when at first I got this, but yeah, it is real metal. Cold to the touch, um, and just immensely satisfying. Um, yeah, I mean this can. Oh yeah, this can. I mean it's not super sharp, but you could poke someone with it. So you get two sets of identical ones. Um, yeah, and so let's try and see if we can post this guy. Okay, so here he is in a sort of a uh, sword drawing stance, which is what he's usually known for. Um, I think, in terms of posability, he looks great, even as the live action pose. But let's see him with the anime head, because that's what I'm more fascinated by.
There you have it. A toy and a memory, and a reminder that sometimes the stories that stay with us aren't always the ones about the heroes that saved the world. They're about the ones about trying to become better people than they once were. Thank you for spending a part of your Saturday morning with me. Until next time, see ya.